Hello, I'm Eric Snodgrass, and thank you for watching today's midday weather outlook for the southern region brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, this was a snapshot of our pictures at 5:30 this morning here on Friday, and I don't think you need much training in atmospheric sciences to be able to identify where the position of this front is located. Now, there's several questions about this front that we want to try to answer. First of all, we want to look at its timing over the next few days to see how far to the south it gets and how far to the east it gets. Secondly, we need to understand the precipitation along the leading edge of it. And third, we need to see how cold we get behind, because you can see here that on the northern kind of panhandle of Texas, we did last night, early this morning, get temperatures down below that freezing mark, and we're going to see that again on Saturday. If there's one final question I want to ask and then answer about this is, does this front eventually stall out somewhere in this vicinity? Because we saw throughout this week's videos how incredibly dry some pockets inside that circle I just drew have been since, gosh, the end of August. And we need to see if we have some meaningful rainfall coming into that area. So taking a look here at our 24-hour temperature change map, if you're wanting to prepare for what this front is going to bring, you can see here that over a 24-hour time period, it's generally dropping the temperatures between about 15 to 30 degrees over that time period. So this is a powerful early season cold front, and I'm not sure if you watched the news the other day, but Denver, Colorado, I think, took the cake for the biggest change in temperature. Of course, it's not on this map, but yesterday as the front went through Denver, they saw over a 60-degree drop in temperatures in a 12-hour time period. Well, it was neat to watch this system evolve throughout the day yesterday and then getting into the overnight hours last night, which is about here, and then into early morning this morning. If we watch this again, we can see some pretty nasty storms did come up here in parts of Texas and Oklahoma. Some of these storms producing a lot of severe weather reports. And watching it one last time, one of the neat things I see is you can see the leading edge of the front moving through Texas here, moving through some of this through some clear air. And so this morning we're watching a main frontal band here and then a post-frontal band of rain on the back side. This is actually better timed with an upper level front feature that's moving over this area. So as we take a look at that, let's just go right on in and watch our temperatures as they evolve here throughout the day today. So pausing this right about noon, we'll see the main frontal boundary will have just crossed the Mississippi River and started to go across Louisiana, but the southern tail of it is now completely down here into the Gulf of Mexico. Look at the cold air behind this. There will be a place in here where there's some cloud cover and some rain right in through this corridor, where our high temperatures today are going to be struggling, at least at noon, maybe not our high temperatures, but at around noon, to get out of the 50s. We got some cold air behind this. As this front progresses later on in the day, we can see that by the time we get past sunset into about 10 p.m., the leading edge of the front is now moving through parts of Alabama. It's almost all the way through New Orleans at this point. And as we watch it get overnight and into the early morning hours tomorrow, let's just take a look at let's step back here. There we go, about 6 a.m. We can see again another early morning freeze. There's a lot of cotton grown right here between Lubbock and Amarillo. And so this is another night of freezing temperatures. Something I want you to notice, though, is as I play this through Saturday, you can see that one place where the front doesn't seem to get past. Watch, ready? Here's the next morning's temperatures coming back up on Sunday. It doesn't seem to make it all the way to the East Coast. And that's because the system, as we talked about this week, becomes vertically stacked. It becomes stationary, and therefore its front tends to not advance because the trough isn't advancing. And those two things are definitely interlinked together. In fact, one causes the other. So if you are in parts of Florida, southern Georgia, the Carolinas, you're not going to see the effects of this front like everybody else did. But let's just take a look at our all hazards weather map, and we can see we have hard freeze and freeze warnings out for a significant part of the panhandle of Texas and this part of New Mexico. And we have a frost advisory out for much of Oklahoma early this morning. There are some strong winds out ahead of this system as well, so we need to keep a close eye on that. And if you are a corn and soybean farmer down here in the southern region, understand that this one is definitely stopping our growing season. And there are a lot of acres here that didn't reach black layer before this cold air came in. And just make one more comment. Here in the north central plains, they have another day of blizzard conditions coming in. So as the snow piles up and the winds continue to crank, this is going to do an enormous amount of damage to the corn and soybean crop here in parts of the Dakotas and western Minnesota. So that is certainly a major problem moving forward. But I need to get here. Now this is a map I don't often show you because it's from a single model run, but it's looking at last night's 0Z model run, which came out very early this morning, at the next 10 days of total accumulated precipitation. And as you look at this, your eyes are are probably drawn to a few features here in the southern region. One, we do see some sort of band of precipitation stretched west to east in through this area. We need to talk about where that's coming from and if there is any sort of life in the tropics that could be potentially causing some issue. So I want to go straight to our models and take a look at the timing and the advancement of this inclement weather. You saw early this morning where our frontal boundary was located and the precipitation along it. As I press play, let me just step you back here. We see that front advances through the lower Mississippi River Valley through midday today, and then through this evening and in the overnight hours tries to push into the southeast. But you'll notice because the front begins to weaken at this point, and because higher atmospheric pressure is in control in this area, by the time we get through the day on Friday into Saturday morning, we're not talking about a big precipitation maker here for these southern states. Maybe through the Appalachian Mountains, we could get some heavier rainfall amounts. But watch what happens after this point. This is now Sunday at 7 a.m., Sunday at 1 p.m., getting into Sunday evening. At that point, the boundary begins to linger. The high pressure moves offshore, which means now it can feed moisture into this, and this is where we might finally start to get some meaningful rain by Sunday evening in through this area. So Sunday, let's call it Sunday midday through Sunday evening in through here. Now, our big low is just sitting and spinning in this area, but watch what happens after this. So this is Monday, Tuesday. Well, let's get you through Monday first. Sorry. Monday evening. Now we're into Tuesday morning, Tuesday midday, and Tuesday evening. Did you see that? You see the front of that first system sitting and spinning up here is now lingering in this area, and higher atmospheric pressure sits on this side. Now that's good. We want the high out here because it will push moisture, funnel it right around into a boundary that's lingering here. We have some extra support from another little shortwave that's sneaking through the Corn Belt, and it drops a front in this area. So we have the enhancement of the lift, and we may be bringing in quite a bit of heavy rainfall here. Again, we're talking about Monday and Tuesday of next week. And it looks to be oriented north-south, and it looks as though it will finally team up with that second low and bring quite a bit of rainfall to the Carolinas, and places in the Carolinas are desperate for this rainfall. Now, in the meantime, while that happens, look at the northwest. Big push of moisture coming in there as higher atmospheric pressure settles back over toward the middle and end of our week here in this part of the southern region. But this is what we're watching. Now, I'm going to show you this, but you must understand there's going to be a lot of model change between now and when this actually happens. But we're out to next Thursday, and you can see that the models are attempting to kick off another sizable low moving somewhere here through, through the Great Lakes states. But at that time, we're getting some tropical moisture coming out of this potential system here coming through the Bay of Campeche, and that may also be bringing in some substantial rainfall in this area. Here's another thing to watch. Once we get out to the 20th, out around the 20th, 21st, we do see another big low pressure system forming in the midsection of the country. Now, we have no detail on this. I'm just telling you the models have been consistently putting it here because that low has been the result of, remember that super typhoon Hagibis I've been talking about? This is what it's eventually able to do in the midsection of the United States. Now, please remember, through the next 5 days, I have confidence. Everything I just showed you from day 5 through now through day 11 here, there is a lot of uncertainty. So let's look at this from a little bit different perspective. I want to show you the day 4 through 10 forecast. So over here, I have the GFS ensemble. So what we notice is once we get through the next 3 days where the front slowly migrates through, once it stalls, this is the corridor on which we're expecting to get some heavy rainfall. And this is shared among models. This is from the European ensemble. And you can see the same pattern tucked away in that area for the day 4 through 7 time period. Okay, so this gets us basically out to the 21st of the month. And that is before the next big push comes in and cranks out that system in the midsection of the country. So there is meaningful rainfall that will be coming to these states, some of which saw their driest Septembers on record. Now to show you this, take a look. There's our deep trough that just slid through here. Watch that one again. There it is. It gets vertically stacked. It sits and spins, so we get the cooler air from it, but the precipitation not that much. Once we get into Tuesday, the front from this one is sitting here. This is the next shortwave that comes through and kicks that trough out, and it brings a boundary in through the Mid-South, and that is what helps bring in that really meaningful rainfall Monday into Tuesday next week right in through this corridor. But look at the Pacific loading up. See this trough here? That is from Hagibis. And as we move forward, it just barrels into the southwestern United States right there by the 20th. And if you're not, if I've not taught you anything this year, please learn it now. Whenever we see these deep troughs in this area, we will get ridging over the southeast. We will get a rebound in temperatures, and it will be very active right here in the midsection of the United States. So we're seeing that definitely for the week 2 time period. Taking a look at our high temperatures. Watch this again. This will play quickly, but I'll take you back and show you some of the bigger feature things. So yeah, Friday, really cool in parts of Texas. We do move the frontal boundary through this point on Saturday, but you'll notice it doesn't get down here into this corridor. It just stalls out such that by Sunday you can see your high temperatures here again. Monday into Tuesday, right in through here, some rain, cooled air. But look at the heat coming back into southern Texas. You folks down here are not going to think it's not still summer. This is Tuesday getting into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of next week. So we do see that we hang on to our near average to slight warm bias. In fact, we can look at it a little different way. Yes, the cold front does sweep through, but remember, like I said, it misses this area. So some much below average temperatures in this section of our southern region here over the next 5 days. But the rebound happens after this. As that trough moves over here and a trough forms in this area, we do get a ridge in between, and we do see some rebounding of the temperatures here in the central plains and the south central plains. And getting all the way up to the 11 to 15 day time period, that's when we're back into this flow pattern, ridges back into place. So this will dry things out again here, but keep it very active right inside this corridor once we get to that time period. So that is something we're definitely going to be watching. Are the tropics adding anything to this? Remember, we do have to watch a feature that's right here. This is what the National Hurricane Center's got an eye on over the next 5 days. I then took you out to days 6 through 9 here, looking at the European ensemble, looking for the potential for tropical depression development. And we do at least see that in that area, the potential is not zero. So we're going to watch that because that could help bring moisture into the southern region here, at least to the southeast or into the lower Mississippi River Valley. But we're talking deep into next week before we're discussing that. So I'll just finish with 2 last maps. This is what your forecast of precipitation anomalies looks like basically days 8 through 15. So that particular time period, taking you out to about the 26th of the month, we remember that we've got Hagibis basically coming through and bringing in a system, and as a result of having high pressure sitting here, we're going to funnel this one with moisture. So we can see a wet corridor through the United States for that deep into week 2 time period. But looking out at week 3, so this is now getting you through the 1st of November, the models are kind of advertising maybe a slowdown right in through this area. So we could get some meaningful rainfall here in the near term, but we'll keep a close eye on this as we watch it progress through the month of November. And with that, I'll go ahead and wrap up your forecast video. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend. Keep an eye on that front, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you.